I hope everybody had a good weekend. I'm actually recording this Sunday morning before the games today. So I might upload this later on, but I got to run. So when I come back, I'll upload it. But basically, let's talk about the first round of the playoffs. Obviously, Miami, sweeps the Milwaukee Bucks easily. Then you got the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics. The Knicks almost had an epic fail. And I tell people this, because I live in New York State, and we got all these bandwagoner fans talking about the Knicks. Listen, man, the Knicks are not a championship team. They're a playoff team. They're a great team as far as a playoff team, but they're not a championship contender yet. Amari's not playing. I guess he's going to maybe play in Game 3 or something in the Pacers series. But they live and die by the jump shot. They don't have an inside game. The best inside player to me is Carmelo Anthony. And Tyson Chandler, he does his thing on the pick and rolls and on putbacks and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they don't have anybody they can just throw the ball to on the block, and score with his back to the basket or something like that. They don't have that except Carmelo. And in the playoffs, man, it's all about defense and rebounds and taking high percentage shots. And, the Knicks, they rely on their jump shots too much. And for them to almost blow a 3-0 lead, and they almost lost Game 6 on that 20-0 run by the Celtics, they should be ashamed of themselves, man, the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? And, hey, this could go either one way. They can either falter after this and, really show their true colors that they're not a good team or a great team, or they can say, you know what, use this as motivation and go to the next round and beat the Pacers. Who knows? But if I had to guess, well, I'll get into that in a minute. All right, also we got the Bulls and the Nets. They finished out last night. The best series in the first round, in my opinion. Great matchup, man. And, just like I said with the Knicks, the Nets should be ashamed of themselves, man. They really should. I mean, to blow that game in Game 7 at home. I know they were down 3-1 to the Bulls, but Heinrich was hurt. Nate Robinson was throwing up on the sidelines, and, my boy Luol Deng didn't even play Game 7. I mean, Derrick Rose is not there, and the Nets had the home court advantage, and they blew it, man. And like I said, I live in New York State, so I get the Yes Network and the MSG Network. So everybody now is Brooklyn Nets and Knicks fans all of a damn sudden. And I be trying to tell people, man, that they don't have it. Neither one of those teams. But Darren Williams, Joe Johnson, all them boys, they should be ashamed of themselves, man. And I know a lot of people, didn't expect them to win this series, even though they were the higher seed and they had the home court advantage. But I'm sorry. Going into a Game 7 at home, and the Bulls are short basically their top 3 of their 5 players without Luol Deng, Kirk Heinrich, Derrick Rose and all them boys, and they're home. They should have won that game, man. But the first half, it was all about heart and the heart of a champion. And the person that has the heart of the champion right now is their leader right now, and that's Joakim Noah, man. And this is why I be telling y'all and everybody that goes by these damn stats. The stats don't mean nothing at the end of the day, man. Okay, and here's why. Dwight Howard has better stats than Joakim Noah, and I will take Joakim Noah in a heartbeat over some damn Dwight Howard, and I'll make another video about that. But Joakim Noah, man, that dude is a heart of a champion. He's a winner, man. He don't have, Dwight Howard's got more talent in his right hand than Joakim Noah has in his whole body. And look what he did. And it's not about if you win or lose. It's how you play the game. And there's so many different things, heart of a champion and different things that you cannot measure on the damn stat sheet. And that's what I be trying to tell y'all, man. And I know, stats are important as far as things, how to measure a basketball player, but at the end of the day, like I said, man, if I'm going into a war, into a playoff game and stuff like that, I'm taking Joakim Noah. And listen, Dwight Howard is a great talent, one of the best talents we have in our league today. But as far as mindset goes, he don't have it, man. He does not have it compared to Joakim Noah or compared to other players like Marc Gasol or something like that. And Joakim Noah, man, he showed his butt that night, in Game 7, man. Not only he guaranteed to win, he backed up the talk, And Joakim Noah, he jokes around too, just like Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard and Joakim Noah, because Joakim Noah messes around. He's a funny dude too. But when the game, when they get into in between them lines and the ball goes up, he changes. He's a totally different person. His intensity level that you can't measure on a stat sheet is way higher than damn Dwight Howard. And these stupid GMs going to give this man this money. And I know Mitch Kupchak and them, they're going to sign him, and they're going to regret it. The only way I would sign him to a max deal, honestly, is to do a sign and damn trade for Dwight Howard. But like I said, I'll make another video about that. But congratulations to the Bulls. And let me tell you something, man. The pressure is going to be on Derrick Rose now. He's talking about some muscle memory stuff. And man, listen. I know why they're not pressuring him. I know why they're not pressuring Derrick Rose, because basically he's the franchise player, and they got to live with this guy for years and years to come, and they don't want to look back and saying, hey, we pressured him into playing too fast and things like that. They've been playing with him this long. But I'm sorry, man. Just like Zach Randolph said, and I'll get into that in the next topic on the West. But this is the playoffs, man. It's win or go home. Everybody's hurt. And you need to play, man. It's as simple as that. I'm sorry. I don't know all the details about Derrick Rose's injury. I wasn't there, in the training camp. I mean, when he's training and stuff like that. So I'm a little ignorant to this subject as far as him and his body and stuff like that. But if his doctor said he's cleared to play, he needs to play. But, and like I've said before, and I'll say it again, the NBA and life is 90% mental. And right now, his mentality, I guess, or his muscle memory or whatever, he don't have it right now. And if they lose this series, which, they probably will, he doesn't play a game. I know the NBA fans have short memories and stuff like that. But, I just couldn't. I just don't see this man just sitting on the sideline and not playing a single game when he's 100% healthy, man. That just doesn't make any sense to me. But, hey, it's his body, it's his career, so he needs to do what he needs to do. But like I said, congratulations for the Chicago Bulls, and the New Jersey Nets need to be hanging their head for letting them boys beat them. Pacers in Atlanta, nobody really cared about this series, but hey, the Pacers got it done in 6. I actually thought they was going to get it done in 5, but the Pacers, man, they're a team to deal with them boys, Hibbert, and the new best player, Paul George, because he done took Danny Granger's spot, and the backcourt and David West, and man, hey, listen, man, these boys are for real, man, and I'm not saying they're a championship contender, but I think they're closer to the Knicks. So let's get into the Western Conference. Obviously, the Lakers got swept. We know that. But bring the brooms out on Dwight Howard, and I'm gonna do a video on him soon. And then you got the Oklahoma City Thunder with a major, devastating loss. Their second best player, Russell Westbrook's not playing, so they lost 2 games without him, but they end up beating the Thunder. The Rockets, which was a great series for James Harden and them boys. But, hey, they had an injury, too, with Jeremy Lin and stuff like that. But them boys, they'll be back. They just need a couple of pieces. They'll be fine. And the Thunder, hey, they're a championship contender with Russell Westbrook. But without him, man, it's going to be tough. And also we got the Golden State Warriors and the Denver Nuggets. I picked the Nuggets to win this, and I was wrong, man. When you got a guy like Stephen Curry who can just light it up at any given time, hey, like I said, they live and die by the 3, but they lived with the 3. And Stephen Curry, man, he's a superstar in this league, and he's a scoring machine, and they couldn't stop him. And without David Lee, if you would have told me or anybody that after Game 1 that Golden State lost, that not only did they lose the game, but they lost David Lee for the series probably. That's what they thought at the time. And somebody would come out and win this series 4-2, I think everybody in the world would have definitely said the Denver Nuggets would have been the winners. But it wasn't. And Stephen Curry pretty much put that team on his back and carried them boys to beat Denver. Now, they almost lost Game 6, but hey, David Lee came in there, to spark the team and give them, a spark, crowd, cheering and stuff like that. But that dude's got a heart. And, this is the playoffs, man. And oh, boy, I keep harping on Dwight Howard. But, hey, my boy, the half-truth, man, you know how he be going off on LeBron James? Listen, everything he says about LeBron, just put Dwight Howard's name in there, and that's how I feel about Dwight Howard, except I'm not telling the half-truth. I'm telling the truth about Dwight Howard. He's not a winner. He's a quitter. He don't got no heart. He's not a leader. He follows people. He followed Kobe to L.A., And this guy is just a joke, man. Literally is a joke. Of all the talent that he has. But anyways, because when I see guys like David Lee that wasn't even supposed to be walking, playing like playing he wasn't coming back and stuff like that, and to do that, man, it just makes me sad for a guy that has that much talent to be playing and acting the way he does, man. But hey, like I said, man, Denver Nuggets, they had a great season. But they ran into a superstar in Stephen Curry. And that's why I say the NBA is a players' league. Greatest coaches are great. Coaches are great, but at the end of the day, the players play the game. And Stephen Curry, he lit the Denver Nuggets up all series long. All right, now let's get into the Memphis Grizzlies and the Clippers. Well, hey, I love this matchup because Zach Randolph, he took it to he took it to Blake Griffin, man. Games 3, 4, 5, and 6. He did. And the first two games, the Clippers were doing their thing and winning and stuff like that. But them boys came back and won 4 straight against the Clippers. And I wanted the Clippers to win, man. I picked the Clippers, and I was wrong on that one too. And I'm kind of pissed off, man, because I love Chris Paul. I do, and he's a great player, and I love him and everything. But and I've said this before. I'm picking Rondo at the end of the day when it comes to being a playoff performer. He's like a mini LeBron James, Rajon Rondo. And Chris Paul, as great as he is, man, he falters and he lays eggs in the playoffs sometimes. He does. He's a great, great player. But he wanted help. He got out of New Orleans because he didn't have no help. He got plenty of help now. And he couldn't get it done. And the reason why he couldn't get it done, man, because Zach Randolph and them dudes and Marc Gasol and Tayshaun Prince, they so well balanced, man. They could not handle the Clippers, could not handle the Grizzlies down low with their defense, inside presence, and their rebounding, man. And Memphis Grizzlies is going to be a team to deal with, man, for real. And Vinny Del Negro is probably going to get fired. Chris Paul's, he's going to demand a new coach. I don't know who's going to be there, but Blake Griffin, he was hurt. And I tell people this all the time. There's a difference between being injured and being hurt. And I don't know if Blake Griffin knows the difference because Zach Randolph does. Zach Randolph knows that he's just hurt. He's not injured. He's hurt. Now, I don't know the severities of both of those guys' injuries, but Zach Randolph basically said, hey, my ankle's messed up too. My ankle's is, the size of a softball. But it's the playoffs. Man up, put your big boy pants on, like Kobe said, and get your butt out there and play. Nobody wants to hear, no mess about you being hurt. Everybody's hurt. And Blake Griffin, he's a great player too, and I'm not going to put him on the level of Dwight Howard and stuff like that. But he needs to get mentally tough. He toughened up a little bit in that game 6, but you could tell his injury was bothering him and stuff like that. But Zach Randolph and them boys got in his head. They did, man. And he was wrestling them. I told you it was going to be a tough series, as far as physical stuff with those two guys. It was fun, but hey, at the end of the day, the better team won. It's as simple as that. That Lob City stuff, that didn't mean nothing against the Grizzlies. They didn't care. All right, now let's do my guesses or predictions for the second round. I'll start off in the East. First of all, we got the Bulls and the Heat. The Heat will win this in 5. It'll be a tough 5, but of course the Heat will win. It's going to be tough, but hey, I think the Bulls are very, very happy just to be here. A lot of people didn't, wrote them off after Game 6. But, the buck stops here, obviously, for the Bulls. I won't be surprised if they win 6, but I'm going to pick the Heat in 5 just because, this is a championship contending team. And with the best player in the league and the MVP, LeBron James, they're not going to be able to handle them. And also we got the Pacers and the Knicks. This is going to be an interesting series. Hey, it reminds me back in the 90s, the mid-90s, in the late 90s. Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing, Larry Johnson, Sprewell, Dale Davis, Antonio Davis, Rick Smith, Mark Jackson, Jalen Rose, great matchups. But this is a new day, and, man, this is going to be a tough series. But like I said before, the NBA is about defense and rebounding and inside presence. And I hate to tell you this, but they're missing the inside presence. They got the defense, the Knicks. When they want to shut somebody down, they can. And they can rebound a little bit. But at the end of the day, man, they take way too many jump shots. Way too many jump shots. And J.R. Smith, the new age, I call him the new age John Starks. He'll either be your best friend or your worst nightmare. He is the gift and the curse for the New York Knickerbockers. And if he don't, if he shows up and he's off, he don't care. He just keeps shooting until he hits a shot, just like John Stark. John Stark shot the Knicks out of the I believe it was 1994 NBA playoffs, Game 7. If it wasn't for him shooting like that, they would have won. They would have kept going to Ewing or something like that, but they didn't, and he kept shooting. So I feel like the Pacers overall are the better team. They're both teams are missing key players. Obviously, Danny Granger hasn't played all year. He was their best player, but hey, there's a new sheriff in town and Paul George, and then you got the Knicks who's missing Amari Stoudemire. But hey, he's to me they need to amnesty him at the end of the year. I don't care what he does in the playoffs. He's getting paid way too much money for the non-production that he's getting up. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Pacers in 6. This is going to be a tough series, but I'm going to pick the Pacers in 6. Let's go to the Western Conference. You got the Spurs versus the Golden State Warriors. That's going to be a tough series for the Spurs. But if the Spurs play their game and slow them down, which is easier said than done, I think Greg Popovich will come up with a plan to not stop Stephen Curry, because you're not going to be able to stop him, but to contain him. Probably do it like a boxing one, have a guy just follow him around. And the thing is, man, you got to deny him the ball. And this series, especially with the defense and the rebounding thing, without David Lee, crashing the boards, helping with Tim Duncan and them boys, it's going to be, even with David Lee, I would pick the Spurs. But without David Lee, it's really, really going to hurt them with this team. And, the buck stops here, I think, for Golden State. And I think they're going to lose 4-1 to the San Antonio Spurs. This is a championship contending team. This is a veteran squad. Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili. What else do I need to say? These guys got it. They know the offense like the back of their hand. It's going to be a great, fun series to watch, but I'm picking the Spurs in a tough 5. I am, because it's just too much experience for the Golden State Warriors. All right, let's go with the Thunder and the Grizzlies. This is going to be an interesting series, and here's why. They played before, these two teams, and it was tough for the Thunder to beat these boys, when they had Rudy Gay. But now, I actually thought they were going to miss a beat with Rudy Gay, but they didn't. They're actually tougher without Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay is a great player and stuff like that, but now they don't have to worry about isolating him and getting him his shots. They play team ball. They play team ball, and they're an all-around team, man. They pretty much don't have a weakness. They got solid players in each position, and they got a solid bench, and they got an underrated, decent coach. They do. Lionel Hollins is a pretty good coach. And with their inside presence, their outside, the perimeter defenders of Mike Conley, Tony Allen, who's one of the best perimeter defenders in our league today. And then obviously you got Tayshaun Prince, who knows a little something about defense and championships with the Pistons. Kevin Garnett cannot be stopped. But I think they can contain him with the combination of Prince and Tony Allen. Prince, to me, is probably one of the best defenders in the league today on Kevin Durant. And I'm going to tell you why. Kevin Durant is so tall and long, and he gets his shot off at a very high peak, because his arms are long. But Tayshaun Prince, when Kevin Durant shoots, he's right there in his face. Now, I'm not saying he blocks his shots or nothing like that, but nobody gets up there and contends as far as a perimeter player, to me, better than Tayshaun Prince on Kevin Durant. And if you can limit Kevin Durant without Russell Westbrook in this series, even with Russell Westbrook, this would be tough. I would pick the Thunder. But when you lose basically your Scottie Pippen of your team, your great second option, I got to give it to the Grizzlies, man. I don't want to say that I want the Thunder to play the Heat, but the Grizzlies might mess around and go to the finals. I was telling the half truth that the other day. And man, so I'm picking the Grizzlies in this series. As much as it pains me to say that, it's going to be tough, but I'm going to pick them in a tough 6 or 7. And the Thunder obviously had their home court advantage and stuff like that, but the Grizzlies, with their inside presence, their all-around defensive presence, inside, outside, and their pressure, because Mike Conley is so underrated. He's going to put a lot of pressure on Reggie Jackson. Derek Fisher is going to be there too, but, he physically just doesn't have it. I just think their inside presence, Mike Conley will get the ball down to Zebo and Marc Gasol. I like Ibaka, but he can't handle Marc Gasol. And Perkins is good too, but he can't handle Zebo or Marc Gasol to me. So it's gonna be a tough 6 or 7. But I'm going with the Grizzlies. All right, so let's talk about my boy LeBron James. He wins the MVP. I know this is a long video. No surprises here. LeBron James is obviously the MVP. But, I don't put too much stock into the MVPs, and I've said this before, and here's why. Most valuable player. What does that really mean? It depends on what your definition is. My definition is the best player in the league because it says most valuable player of the NBA. It doesn't say most valuable player of the Lakers or most valuable player to the Heat or whatever. Because if that was the case, the most valuable player, obviously, to me, is Kobe Bryant. And I know y'all gonna say, oh, he's been in the league 17 years. He's a shot jet. Listen to me, man. That's why he's the MVP, because he is doing his thing, scoring points. Listen, think about this. And then people used to always tell me this too when LeBron was on Cleveland and, Kobe's on the Lakers. If you take them two boys off the team, which team would be worse? Now, listen, don't get me wrong. If the Miami Heat lost LeBron James, they're not going to win the championship. But I will tell you this. Let's backtrack. Let's take LeBron James and put him in Kobe's shoes. Let's say he got injured 2 games before the playoffs start. Would the Heat have beat Milwaukee? Of course they would have. They probably would have beat him in 5. Dwayne Wade would have led them boys back to beat him. Would they have beat the Bulls without LeBron James? It would have been tough. Don't get me wrong. But I would give the Heat the edge in maybe 6 or 7. That would have been tough. That could have probably went either way. Against the Pacers or the Knicks, I don't know. That's tough. Without LeBron James. They might win. They might be able to go to the finals without LeBron. That's up for debate. Who knows? But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't even have to tell you what happened to the Lakers without Kobe Bryant. Had Kobe had won the series against the Spurs? Probably not, but I'm going to tell you this right now. It would not have surprised me if they would have. Nothing surprised me. If Kobe would have led the team and beat the Spurs, would that have been a major upset? Yeah, it would have been kind of an upset, but not a major. We talking about Kobe Bryant, man. So, like I said, if you go by who's most valuable player to their team, obviously it's Kobe Bryant because we know what Dwight Howard is and isn't. He's a coward and he's not a leader and he's a quitter. So, the leader of the team, Kobe Bryant, when he went down, he was the MVP of the team. If you go by individual teams, it's Kobe Bryant. But as far as the league goes, league-wide and worldwide, definitely LeBron James is the MVP. Let me know you guys' thoughts and picks, and if you think I'm crazy or whatever you think about what's going on, what happened in the first round, what's going to happen in the championship round, and in the second round, and let me know your thoughts and prediction and guesses on what's going to happen next. All right? Thanks, guys. Take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you soon, and don't forget, if you can believe it, you can do it. Thanks for watching. You guys know I appreciate it. And remember, folks, always treat people how you want to be treated, and everything will be okay. This is NBA Jerry, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.